Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out, episode number 69. If this is the first time that you've tuned into the program, welcome. Happy to have you along. This is a weekly radio show and podcast that's meant to demystify technology as much as I aim to celebrate it. So you can put away that geek to English dictionary as you won't need it here. We do have a great show planned for you this hour with 5 different guests. We're going to talk in a moment with Roku about new streaming sticks and boxes, TVs, and a speaker. Jefferson Graham from USA Today will join us as well to talk about how fragile the Apple Watch is, based on an article he's cooking up. We'll sit down with Proofpoint to chat about spotting fake news on social media. Conversica will join us to talk AI and sports. And finally, LocateMotion teaches us about their smartwatch for seniors. That's all coming up and more on Tech It Out. You're probably well aware of Roku, the company that turns a regular TV into a smarter one. It's usually a stick or a box that you can stream over-the-top video content from, or with the Roku platform already built into some TVs. There are many different Roku solutions on the market today to suit varying needs and budgets, and so we're now going to learn what's hot for the holidays with Lloyd Clark. He's the Director of Product Management at Roku. Welcome back to the show, Lloyd.
Thanks, Mark. Always a pleasure to talk with you.
Likewise. Before we talk about what's new from Roku, remind us what Roku, the platform, is all about.
Oh, Roku is an amazing solution for people who want to watch TV or listen to music. What we've done is we've taken an amazing amount of content from thousands of different channels and made it so easy to access from your television. So, like you said before, it's a player or a box or a stick or actually sometimes a TV itself, and you can watch whatever you want to watch whenever you want to watch. It makes life a little bit easier by making TV a little bit easier to get to.
So this is often referred to as OTT or over-the-top content. So we're not talking about your cable or your satellite subscription or anything like that. This is a platform whereby you've curated these channels. Many of them are familiar to, I'm sure, our listeners, like YouTube, and of course there's support for Netflix and so on. And you simply plug it into your TV, you join your Wi-Fi connection, or the TV has the Roku platform built in, and now you've got access to those streaming services that you may or may not know about.
Yeah, we started with the concept that TV was going to be sent to your home over the internet, and that's absolutely what's happening today. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned some popular ones, Netflix or Hulu or YouTube or thousands and thousands of other channels that just have a wonderful selection of content. A lot of it is absolutely free too, Mark. So we've got a couple channels on the platform today, one of which is our own called the Roku channel. You log into there. In fact, there is no login. There's no subscription. There's no authentication. You just go to that channel, and there's a lot of great free content to watch.
Mm-hmm. Could you quantify how much content there is, either by number of channels or by number of hours of content, anything like that?
Oh, we're over thousands of channels. I think the number right now for the number of TV shows and movies is over 500,000.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot to choose from.
Yeah, sure, for sure. And you mentioned that some of these are tied to a subscription service like Netflix. Others are completely free like YouTube. Plus, there are some Roku exclusive channels too.
Yes, the Roku channel is a great example of that, which actually pulls together content from a lot of different places, and it's content that's absolutely free. It's something that our family watches a lot.
Mm-hmm. So I mentioned earlier, Lloyd, that there are many different Roku solutions on the market. Tell us what's new.
Well, it all kind of boils down to what kind of TV you have. So if you don't have a new TV and you want to get one, there's some great offerings from some of our TV manufacturing partners that offer Roku built right in. In fact, the Roku is the television, controls everything about the television. It makes TV simple from start to finish. And you can get standard HD or 1080 sets. You can get full 4K sets. You can get 4K plus Dolby Vision sets. There's a wide variety of sizes, anything from I think It's a 28-inch. It's the smallest, all the way up to a 65-inch. There's some great solutions at great prices with great video quality, and of course Roku makes it all simple for the TV. Now, if you already have a TV, there's options from Roku that will match together with your television, or wherever your television is placed in your home. If it's your main TV, that maybe you've just bought a 4K television, we've got a number of different players that are options, including some new ones for this Christmas. For this holiday season, we're introducing 2 new 4K players at really affordable prices. As low as $39, you can add a 4K Roku solution to your television.
Okay, 4K referring to the fact that if the TV supports it, up to 4 times the resolution of full HD. So a lot more detail in that image. And that Roku stick or box has to support that. So they do with many of the models out there, including this $39 one, which is obviously very affordable way to turn a regular TV into a smart TV. And as a differentiator with other sticks or boxes on the market, Lloyd, you talked earlier about the just easier to use. So tell us a little bit about what separates Roku from the competition.
It is one of those products that it's just incredibly easy to use. I worked for a number of different technology companies in the past, but this one, I feel comfortable in giving this as a present to friends and family, because I know that I don't have to worry about being the tech support for it. It's simple to set up. It's simple to use. And with 500,000 TV shows and movies to choose from, we make it easy to get to the one that you want to watch. So we include something called Universal Search, which allows you to search across the top channels and find the show that you're interested in.
You also support voice with some of your solutions, right? Like speaking into the remote.
We do. You can use either a remote that comes with the player. Many of our players include a voice remote. You can also use our mobile app. You can use voice through the mobile app, and it will access that search function that I just described. So it's really simple to do.
Going back to the TVs that have the built-in Roku platform as its smart TV platform, what models or makes would our listeners be familiar with? Are these brands that we already know, or are these brand new TVs?
These are brands you're getting to know really quickly. One of the top couple brands, and we've got over 10 brands now, but some that you'll know of are TCL or Hisense. Hitachi is brand new. Sanyo, Sharp. There's a lot to choose from. It depends where you're shopping as well. You'll see at major retailers across the country. Okay,
so you'll see it advertised on the box or online. It'll say Roku or some sort of sticker or logo that shows that once you boot up the TV and you join your Wi-Fi, that you'll have access to everything that a typical Roku stick or box or any other media streaming player from Roku would have, but it's already built into the TV.
That's absolutely right.
Okay. So just to summarize, the Roku platform can be used in 2 different ways. One is if you're already happy with your existing TV, you can buy this little stick that plugs into the HDMI port of your TV, or a media box, a slightly bigger box that may be a little bit more powerful and with extra bells and whistles, if you will. And then that way you just, the same process. You join your Wi-Fi, and then now you've got access to everything on that remote. The second way is if you don't have a TV that you love already, or it's time to replace it, you may consider upgrading your TV to a newer one that already has the Roku platform built in.
You got it down, Mark. Okay. You know what you're doing.
All right, Lloyd. Tell us about the Roku speaker that's available as well.
This is a great addition to people who have Roku TVs already. It adds another level of experience for entertainment. A lot of TVs are built very, very thin, which is fantastic. You can hang them on the wall. They don't take up very much room. But unfortunately, what happens then is that the sound quality isn't as good as it could be. Well, Roku TV wireless speakers change that for you. It creates a sound stage. It makes you feel like you're part of the movie. They're so simple to set up, Mark. Basically you set them like a peripheral device. So you just pair it to your television. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. If you know your left from your right, that's all you need to know. So my speaker goes on my left, my speaker goes on my right, and then all of a sudden it brings to life entertainment. Wow, it changes how you watch.
So all you need is a Roku-powered TV, and then you can add that speaker to it. So that's who this is for.
It's exactly right. You can buy them directly from Roku, so come to Roku.com. They are on sale right now for $199. And what you get in this package is a set of speakers, so a left and right speaker. You also get a new remote for your television, so it's a wireless remote that adds voice capabilities to your TV. And you get a new kind of remote that we've designed to place somewhere else in your room or in your house. So I've got mine. This is called the Roku Touch. The Roku Touch is in my kitchen, and when I want to control what's going on my television, I just press my talk button on the Roku Touch, and I can tell it to change channels. I can tell the volume to go up. When I come down in the morning, I can start a podcast. It's a great accessory for my television. It changes how I'm using it.
Awesome. So where can our listeners learn more about Roku, including this $39 model? And please remind us the name of that product or the model number as well.
Yes, of course. Yeah, so the new Roku Premier and the new Roku Premier Plus are available at retailers across the country. Premier Plus is an exclusive at Walmart. Premier will be available at any retailer that you can think of where to buy consumer electronics. And of course, you can always go to Roku.com to find information on all of our products.
Oh, okay. Lloyd Clark, Director of Product Management at Roku. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks.
My pleasure, Mark.
Before we continue on with today's Tech It Out, a quick shout out to my sponsor. This program is powered by ASUS. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life. For those in search of incredible, visit asus.com/US/radio for more info on all their products. That's asus.com/US/radio. When we return on Tech It Out, we'll catch up with Jefferson Graham from USA Today to talk Apple Watch. We'll be right back.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. For the first time on this show, I'm thrilled to have as a guest Jefferson Graham, a seasoned columnist with USA Today, based in LA, who has been with the publication for, I think, close to 35 years. Is that right, Jefferson?
Longer than I'd like to admit out loud.
All right. Well, congratulations. That's amazing. I know you've also written several books. You're a great guitar player, as I've seen online. Man of many talents. But back to tech. Like, no doubt, Jeff, you've seen tech come and go and evolve very rapidly over the years. And today you're joining us to talk about Apple Watch and specifically durability. Tell us about this piece you're writing.
Well, I think most people would be surprised to find out how easy it is to crack an Apple Watch and how hard it is to get them fixed and how expensive it is as well. Mm-hmm. We all know people who have dropped phones. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry of fixing the phones, right? And there's so many places you can go to get a new screen. Not so with the Apple Watch. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. The new Apple Watch sells for $400.
Right.
If you were to buy Apple Care, that's $70, and if you crack the screen, that would be $80. So we're just under $600 now. If you don't have Apple Care, it's a flat $299. $300 to fix your screen. Wow. Could go higher depending on the model you have. And of course, on an iPhone, I've fixed screens for $100. I don't know about you.
So we're talking 3/4 of the price of the Apple Watch just for the screen itself.
That's right. And, you can call me a klutz if you want to. You put a watch on your wrist and you don't connect it as well as you would like, and it falls off your wrist. I don't think I'm the first person that's ever happened to.
Mm-hmm. That's probably more rare than actually just bumping it into, you walk in a doorway and your wrist just, brushes past a door or some other object, a car, a lamppost. I mean, it's going to happen. There's just the bumps and grinds of everyday life.
Right. Well, I think for most people, for the phones, it's dropping them. It's slipping. Mm-hmm. I work in a garage with a concrete floor, which is death to devices. So I've cracked many a phone in the garage. None as bad as the watch.
Wow. Do you think, Jeff, that this is planned obsolescence or cutting corners to increase their revenue? Or is it just hard to make a watch durable?
Well, why can't they make a glass screen that's durable? It's all we ask for every year when they say, we have all these wonderful new features for the iPhone. You say, no, just give me an all-day battery and a glass that won't break. That's all I really care about.
That's right.
That's it, period. And how hard can it be? And, I think they just don't want to put, they make too much money on fixing screens.
And there's nowhere you can go, like a third-party place, right?
Okay, so there are all these companies that have built up. You Break, I Fix, iCrack.com. You could also go to Best Buy. None of them fix the Apple Watch screen. Apparently it is complicated, or who knows what the reason is, but they don't want to go near it. So you don't have an alternative. Your only alternative is paying $400 for a watch and then fixing it for $300.
Right, unless you have Apple Care, which is the insurance policy, and then still it's $80.
Oh, well, no, you've paid $70 for Apple Care and then $80 on top of that.
Yeah, that's right. So another $150. So now you're looking at $550 for this Apple Watch instead of $400.
And you get 2 cracks per your Apple Care.
Wow. All right. So are you talking to Apple for this article? I can't expect them to comment on this. Is this like sort of an expose kind of piece, or is it just like a...
Well, it's not an expose. Like you, I do a podcast every day, so I talk about what happens in my life, and this is, that's tech-related, and this is one of those little stories. So I'm recording a podcast for this for tomorrow, and so far I have no comment from Apple.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect one. But it sounds like a great story, and you are... just to confirm, this is going to be an article in USA Today as well?
It should be. Okay. Once I write it, yeah.
Well, I'm particularly interested because, shameless plug here, but I wrote the book Apple Watch for Dummies, which I'm updating right now.
Right.
I'm a fan of the product, even though I'm not actually an iPhone user, which gets complicated because you technically need one to set it up, if not always, if you don't have the cellular version. But that being said, I think it's a great product. But yeah, I'm with you. Forget all the frills. And I'm going, not just phones, but tablets and watches as well. Give me an all-day battery or more, and give me a super durable screen. So, I mean, it's really not a lot to ask for, and that's what makes me think, maybe this is planned in a way, just so they can, it's just a huge revenue stream, as you suggested.
Now, have you cracked a screen?
I haven't cracked an Apple Watch screen. No, I've cracked many a smartphone screen, but not an Apple Watch screen. And
do you wear it every day?
I do not.
Okay.
No, I don't.
You only wear it while you're writing the update.
That's right. I switch between phones, so I don't wear it if I'm not using my iPhone at that day. It's complicated. I'm a bit of an anomaly. I think most people who have one wear it every day. But I'd be curious to know. Maybe you can open it up at the end of your article, or ask others to comment if this is a thing that they've experienced and if they're aware of how much it would cost to fix it. I'm sure you've thought of that.
Yeah, I switched to a Fitbit because I like the exercise stuff in the watch and monitoring the workout and the heart rate. But I picked up a Fitbit for $150. I haven't cracked it yet, but even if I do, who cares?
Yeah, it's more disposable. Jefferson, it's been great chatting with you. Thanks for joining me on the show for the first time. Jefferson Graham, a columnist with USA Today, and the name of your podcast is Talking Tech.
You can find it wherever fine podcasts are presented.
All right. Thank you. We'll see if Apple continues to hold your podcast on iTunes if you give them a bad rap over this.
But this won't be the first time, so I don't think we'll have a problem.
All right, Jefferson, thanks again.
Okay, bye-bye.
We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out on the Radio America Network. There's been a ton of buzz over the past couple of years about AI, artificial intelligence, saying that this is what will drive the next generation of technology. But AI is much more than, just talking to Alexa to tell you the weather. Joining us on the line to chat with us about AI, how the NBA is embracing it, and what it means for you and your business, we're joined by Alex Terry. He's the CEO of Conversica, based in Silicon Valley. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Thanks, Mark. It's great to be here.
Thanks. Now, before we talk about Conversica and the work that you do, let's just step back for a moment and define AI, artificial intelligence. What are we talking about exactly here?
So at Conversica, we think of artificial intelligence as technology that acts in a way that's similar to a person, and we usually break it into 5 pieces. Something that's able to perceive information like a person would, to understand it, to make a decision, take an action, and then learn from that. That's how we look at it.
So machine learning, or ML, is part of AI, but it's sort of like a subset of artificial intelligence then.
That's right.
Okay. So tell us then about your work with Conversica. Tell us what you do and how you leverage AI for your customers.
Of course. So at Conversica, we really focus on something called conversational artificial intelligence. It's, as you mentioned before, artificial intelligence is a really large field and touching lots of not only robotics, but vision, a lot of different areas. We at Conversica focus on conversational AI. So we've built artificial intelligence software that conducts human-like conversations and takes actions by itself to help businesses solve specific business problems. So at a very high level, we've built this software that conducts these conversations and acts on its own to solve problems.
All right, so we are talking software. It's not like a robot that has some AI to it. This is a software platform that you've rolled out. Does it run natively, like on people's computers, or is it in the cloud where it's all connected to Conversica over the internet?
It operates in the cloud, and so Conversica has over 1,200 companies that use our software, and our flagship service is a sales and marketing assistant that really acts just like an entry-level salesperson. It has these conversations to engage and qualify sales leads. And then after those leads are engaged and qualified, it hands them off to a human salesperson to close the deal.
Okay, cool. And talk to us about your work with the NBA and specifically the Sacramento Kings. How are they using AI?
Sure. Yeah, the Sacramento Kings were the first NBA team to work with Conversica and our AI sales and marketing assistant. So the Kings assistant, his name is Sarah Martinez, and the AI assistant helps the Kings on a variety of projects. For example, with season tickets, group ticket sales, or selling of the suites, not to mention like pre-event things like draft parties, and even really ticket sweepstakes. And so any professional sports franchise has millions of fans, and so interacting with those millions of fans is a daunting challenge. And so AI is really the best way to have those personal one-on-one conversations at a very large scale.
Talk to us about how the AI can better service the team for their needs rather than human input, or at least on the front lines.
Sure. For example, let's say you've got a large number of people who are interested in, who have bought tickets, who may or may not want to buy season tickets next year. And so there's a couple ways to do it. You can have a large staff of people who try to reach out, whether they're calling the ticket holders or sending them a text message or an email, or you can have that same staff working alongside an artificial intelligence sales assistant, so that the sales assistant does the routine parts of that operation. Maybe it's sending a text message or sending an email or a 2 or 3. And then once you find someone who's interested in talking with a salesperson, someone we call engaged or qualified, then to have the human focus on kind of closing the deal as opposed to chasing down a potential lead. Splitting the labor, if you will, between the routine parts that are done by the AI and the more creative, kind of higher level tasks that are done by the person.
Is this kind of like a chat bot? When you go to a website and it says, "Hi, how can I help you? My name's Julie." And then you start typing in your answer to that query. And then until an AI companion can't help any further, then you're directed to a human. Is that the same idea?
Yeah, the same idea, but think about a little more advanced. So not only chatting with you, but also taking actions by itself, like autonomous actions, like taking actions on its own to do everything from letting the human salesperson know and bringing them in at the right point in time. Think of it maybe a chatbot, but times 10, like a much more sophisticated and advanced human-like chatbot that's able to solve the complete problem, not just do one little piece of it.
We're chatting with Alex Terry. He is the CEO of Conversica. They are a Silicon Valley-based company that leverages artificial intelligence in a number of fields, but specifically in finding businesses get their next customer. I think your tagline is AI will help you find your next customer, and you create engaging conversations to reach your sales goals. So I think that's intriguing for many. Just to play devil's advocate for a moment, what would you say to those who say, well, AI is replacing human jobs? Just before you answer that, I know that the head of IBM's Watson department once told me that for every job that artificial intelligence or robotics replaces, any kind of automation, it creates on average about 4 or 5 new jobs, just different jobs. What's your take? Right. What's your take on that?
So what we're seeing in real life is, well, first of all, I think people are correct to be a little nervous about any new technology, right? And so I think it's a rational fear that people are afraid AI might take some of their jobs. But what we're actually seeing is more similar to the IBM example. What we're seeing is the vast majority of our customers are increasing the size of their sales and marketing teams after implementing Conversica.
Got it. All right. So for a call to action then, Alex, for those listening right now, how could they tell if they can benefit from your technology, and how should they learn more about Conversica?
Of course. So they can go to conversica.com. They can request a demo. They can, and we'd be more than happy to talk with any company and find out what their sales and marketing funnel looks like and learn about their business to see if we can help make that marketing and sales funnel more efficient using our AI sales and marketing assistant or any one of our other AI assistants.
Alex Terry, CEO of Conversica, thank you very much for your time. Really interesting stuff.
Thanks, Mark. It's been a real pleasure.
We'll be back shortly with more Tech It Out when we catch up with Proofpoint.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. I'm your host, Mark Saltzman. Especially with the midterm elections this past week, there's been a lot of chatter and concern about fake news on social media that's meant to sway you to vote one way or another through deliberate misinformation. Now, while platforms like Facebook and Twitter vow to do a better job at weeding out these fake accounts, what could you do to spot and avoid fake news or report it as well? Joining us on the line to chat is Dan Nader. He is the VP of Digital Risk Products at the cybersecurity firm Proofpoint. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Sure thing. Now, before we talk about fake news to sway a political vote on social media, tell us a bit about the company.
Sure. So Proofpoint's a cybersecurity company that sells to business, and our mission is to protect people, data, brands against advanced threats and other problems that might impact individual users. So that means we help block targeted attacks. We protect social media accounts. We monitor the dark web. We can even train employees to spot phishing scams.
Okay, great. So even though this is pretty much a consumer show, a lot of people do work for a business that has business-grade cybersecurity software, which may be a little bit different and arguably a little bit more powerful than the consumer-grade stuff, the things that we would install on our PCs at home and so on. But they often say that the weakest link in the cybersecurity chain is often the people who work at the companies. They inadvertently let in the bad guys, something that's called social engineering, right? Like phishing scams and so on.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
With that in mind, let's now talk about the issue that we all know from 2 years ago with the 2016 election, which was fake news or doctored social media, which looked like real news stories that weren't. There was a significant fake news issue there that has perhaps peaked again with the 2018 midterms last week. Talk to us about this problem. Is it a big one?
Yeah, it looks like there's definitely evidence of that. It's a little bit different than what we saw in 2016 in that a lot of the sites that were new this year appear to be homegrown and not necessarily created by other countries. But we do know Twitter and Facebook deleted a lot of accounts in the run-up to the election. And we've seen the same old news about election fraud, fake polls, ICE planning mass deportations, lots of news that you would expect to kind of trigger a response in people who read it.
Right. And I did read that Facebook in particular tried to weed out some of these phony accounts and phony articles. But you gave us a bit of a taste of what we may see. But could you elaborate? Like, what are these fake posts that we would see on Twitter or Facebook or other platforms? And how do you know they're not real?
Yeah, so it can be tricky. Normally they have these sensationalized, what we call clickbait headlines. It's probably a safe rule of thumb that if there's an exclamation point or two in the headline, it's probably not real.
Right.
But it's you need to look at the source. I think in almost every case, if you dive deeper than the headline, you'll see that these sources aren't legit. They might have a kind of a quasi-legit name like Action News 10 or WTOE or something that appears legit. But if you dive into it a little bit more, it almost never is. If you look at the byline, the people, either there's not a byline, which is suspect, which is suspect in itself, or you'll see that it's just completely fictionalized. In other cases, you might see a legitimate photo or a legitimate article, but the date's wrong. Right. A couple of weeks ago, there was a story that was circulating. There was a photo of a Mexican police officer who was bloodied, and the caption said something like, these peaceful people on their caravan are really just attacking the police. And that was actually a photo that was taken about 6 years ago, and it was just misused this year. So we see a lot of stories that basically get recirculated. They have a different caption, and so with a different context, they mean something different.
All right. So the tip, I guess, is just to exercise a bit of extra common sense. Be suspect if you've never heard of the publication. If there's no byline, there's no reporter name associated with it. The headline seems a bit overly sensational with exclamation marks or something to the extent of, you won't believe what Democrats want you to think, or something like that. And check the date. So these are all really good tips. And please, I encourage, and I hate to sound preachy, but I encourage our listeners who, when you read something like this and your first inclination is to share it with everybody else, just take a breath and apply some of these tips we're hearing from Dan, because you could be helping to spread this disinformation. We are chatting with Dan Nader. He is the VP of Digital Risk Products at a company called Proofpoint. We're talking about fake news as it pertains to the elections, but it certainly is not exclusive to that. So you mentioned that this time around with the 2018 midterms compared to 2 years ago, this seems to be a little bit more homegrown. So is this just like, extreme left-wing or right-wing people who are being paid or on their own accord just trying to sway voters in one way, shape, or form?
Yeah, that's right. It looks like both. There are the typical people who are out to just make money by generating lots of clicks. And there are sort of the hyper partisans who are out there. We see them more on the right than on the left, but they're there on both sides.
Okay. And is there anything else we can do?
Yeah. So all of the social media sites like Google, Twitter, Facebook, they're spending a lot of time and energy to try to take down these fake sites and to spot this news. But at the end of the day, it's really up to each individual person to kind of take responsibility for what they read and for what they share.
All great advice, Dan. As we wrap up, where can our listeners learn more about Proofpoint?
Well, you can go to our website at www.proofpoint.com.
All right, Dan Nader, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Tech It Out powered by ASUS. Stay with us.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
The LocateMotion Caregiver Watch is a GPS tracker for the elderly, kids, and caregivers with several features to help keep an eye on your loved ones. Joining us on the line to walk us through its features and how it works, we've got Naaman Jafar. He's the CEO and founder of LocateMotion. Welcome to the show, Naaman.
Thank you, Mark, for this opportunity.
So let's start right from the top. What is LocateMotion?
So LocateMotion is literally the find company of the future, and we have a huge focus on the elder market with health as our primary target as well.
So I'm sorry, the find company, could you explain that?
Yes. So today, as you know, what we are trying to do here is we are literally helping families stay together. The problem that we are trying to solve here, Mark, is what do you do when your loved one disappears? It's actually happened to me a couple of times when my younger one wandered off at a superstore, and the next day he did the same thing at the picnic. Got me thinking, what do I need to do to stay connected with him 24/7. So that is the idea behind LocateMotion. It is going to be the find company of future.
Okay. And there's also applications here for those who may suffer from dementia, such as Alzheimer's. So when you're wearing this smartwatch, whether you lost your son temporarily or someone goes walking that has dementia, you want to track, you can do so with the watch.
Absolutely. And Mark, you're absolutely right. It's a huge growing concern. Today, as we speak, there's about 52 million seniors above the age of 65 living in North America. By different standards, about 10% of them have some sort of early or late Alzheimer and dementia. So it's a significant growing market. Every 67 seconds in U.S. And every 5 minutes in Canada, there is a new patient of Alzheimer and dementia who comes into the fold. 1 in 3 seniors have this. This wearable solution that we have come up with can be worn by somebody who actually has this, so that we can give quality of life to the caregiver, and we are able to track, monitor, and care for the loved ones.
All right, so let's walk through the things the watch can do. So it looks like a regular smartwatch, not unlike Apple Watch or an Android watch, maybe a little bit bigger, but it has a number of features to it, including cellular connectivity. So you can make phone calls on this watch without needing a smartphone.
Absolutely. So there's a number of GPS solutions out in the market, and what we have done is we have tried to differentiate ourselves by using the latest Internet of Things technology, the IoT technology, like making phone calls, locating them on 24/7, ability to actually track them historically route-wise. Like, I can track them for the last couple of days, for the last 24 hours, the last 2 hours where they have been, and you can remotely take a picture. So assume that you have your loved ones is wandered off, and you know the approximate location, and you know what is the surrounding around them, and you are able to remotely take pictures of them because there is a camera on the phone as well. And then there are a number of other features that we have put in, like the health tracker, so number of steps, and in future we are trying to actually improve those features to have other FDA-approved sensors like cardiac, breath pulse. All those other things will be added to this watch. So literally this becomes a wearable that an elder or somebody with cognitive challenges is wearing, and the caregiver is able to actually track, locate, and care for them on a 24/7 basis.
We're chatting with Nauman Jafar, CEO and founder of LocateMotion. That's LocateMotion.com, by the way. So why don't we now talk pricing? How much does the LocateMotion Caregiver Watch cost?
We have 2 simple price points, Mark, that we have come up with. We sell this watch as a month-to-month deal, which is an option 1 for $99. So regular price is $149. We are selling this at $99. There is also a $19 per month charge. Again, the other option, which a few people like, is a $249 one-time option for the whole year.
So LocateMotion.com. Thank you so much for your time, Nauman.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Hey, thanks for listening to this week's Tech It Out, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the program. One last shout out to my sponsor, ASUS. Check out their awesome line of laptops, desktops, monitors, smartphones, smartwatches, and tablets, all at asus.com/US/radio. That's ASUS.com/US/radio. We only have 20 seconds left, so please let me thank you, our valued listeners, for tuning in to Tech It Out every week. If you enjoy the show, feel free to subscribe to the podcast. And if you already do so, please do share it with your friends, family, and coworkers. Really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch up with you next weekend on Tech It Out. Bye-bye for now.